This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everyone. There's some things we take for granted. We just, a lot of us are creatures of habit, and we do the same thing over and over again. Let's say you want to go on vacation. So you have a couple of different options. There's a couple of different websites out there where you can book a hotel. Or let's say you want to stay at somebody's place, maybe save some money, get a more intimate experience. You're not into the hotel vibe. So you go to those websites, VRBO, Airbnb, and you do your thing. Why are you doing that? Now, I ask that, in a very positive way. I do the same thing because I'm used to doing it. What are you giving up to do that? You have to pay extra. So does the person that is putting their property on those sites. We just take it for granted that that's the way it has to be, but it doesn't when you come across different things, different sites like DirectStay. We have an alternative here, people, and this is a brand new platform just getting rolled out. We're on the ground floor right here, and this is fantastic for anybody that has a property, whether you got that extra beach house and you rent it out when you're not using it, or if this is a business for you, you can find your perfect stay. You can find the people that are looking for you and save a lot, not give up a lot. We're going to talk more about that today. The man behind it joins us once again. I've learned so much about this whole process from Breck, Rubin, who is back on the show. How you doing today?
Doing great, Steve. Good to see you again. Glad to be back here. So thanks a lot for having me.
Great to have you back here. And, I have friends that are away right now. Of course, where did they find their place? On the sites that I mentioned. They're giving up a lot for that. And so are the people that are renting in terms of the fees and everything else that's involved and the personal relationship. I always feel whenever I use those sites disconnected from the owner of the property. I don't like that. This is a big, how many times you go on vacation? It's really important. When you go to a hotel, you can go to the front desk, right? You have here, communication might not be the best. It's not like that with DirectStay, correct?
Correct. And you brought up just a really good point about being at a hotel and having that service connection and line open from the minute you check in. And that's exactly what we're bringing to the marketplace, Steve, is opening up that line of communication. We want you to feel comfortable with your host, and as a host, we want you to feel comfortable with the guest that's coming to your home. And so that was real important to us, was to empower the host to be able to have that connection with their guest and vice versa. So, I think that, as we've done these podcasts together, Steve, I've gotten to know you and get to know you as a person I've gotten really excited just for each and every podcast because you're such an amazing professional and ask so many great questions. But there was a process involved there from the first time to where we are now, and how I know you so much better and just look forward to our time together. Well, that's the same thing with DirectStay, is that we want to empower everybody to have a great relationship and connection. And that, if you're spending a lot of money to have a guest experience and to go somewhere you're not familiar with, going to somebody's home you're not familiar with, we want to see that relationship is built so that they get to know one another. So it's like they're coming to someone they already know. They're coming to their house. I know you. I've talked with you. You've asked about, what types of sheets, towels, what are the things that the house has, and have all those questions answered personally before you even book that reservation. That's not what we haven't talked about. Is this isn't they've booked and now this relationship happens. We're talking about you have a lot of questions to see if this is the right property for you or not. It may or may not be. Steve, we don't want you to show up and it not be what was promised to you. So the only way you're going to know is Steve the right interviewer for me for DirectStay? 120%. But it's only because I got to know you ahead of time and continue to do the podcast and these type of things. And so we're doing the same thing. We want to make sure that if you're going to make that investment on the guest side, that this is the house for you, that you have a good relationship, the guests and the hosts are connected. So absolutely, super important.
And many times, they put up pictures, and that's all fine. And there's a list of amenities and things like that, but everybody is different. And yeah, I stayed somewhere in September in Florida, and I actually stayed with a friend who got the place. But there were restaurants within a 30-second walk. Now, a lot of times it doesn't say that on these sites. It'll just say, and that was important to me. That was
Right.
important. I every morning I went and had breakfast, sat, that I enjoyed it. That was fantastic. Just, having coffee, maybe a bagel, just watching the scenery and everything. You don't see those deep details, located near restaurants. All right, where is that? The details, the specific details are usually not there. And the only way you're going to get those is if there's a little bit of, if you need it, communication with the owner or the management, whatever it is. Those are specific things that you're not going to get. And I think about the name DirectStay. If you're booking something through DirectStay, you're in direct contact,
Yes.
if you need to be, with the owner. Now I get the name. I mean, I don't know if that's right, but that's, in terms of the
100%.
name. Is that why you chose that name?
100%. And not only that, Steve, but you brought up another good area here is that we're actually connecting, we're investing heavily in the communities where DirectStay is launching, and that is going to be part of the host's communication with the guests. Is they're going to be able to give them options from the moment they connect on the things that they can do coming into town. They'll have that about I believe 3 to 5 days ahead of time. We have a partner that we're working with that they will be able to share the different areas and things that can be done in that area where you're coming into town, and you can book different things and know the restaurants ahead of time. We want to offer that as a service to the guest so that they know before they get into town what it is they can do, what's available to them. If they want to book something ahead of time, a reservation, a restaurant, or something with a theme park, that they don't have to scramble when they get into town, but it's done for them ahead of time. So that's a concierge service that we're providing that you may not know the city, but we want to give you that information ahead of time so that you will have a better understanding. And that's part of our relationship building, not only with the hosts and the guests, but also with our local business owners, which are also a big part of this and a big part of our scope of things with DirectStay.
So we focused on those looking for a place to stay. Let's reverse it around and look at it as the host. So how are you able to allow the host to keep 100% of the rental income? How's that going on?
Yeah, great question. So basically, what we're doing is we're empowering them to be able to have their own. So a lot of times there's payment processing fees and things. Well, what most people use Stripe for their processing, what happens is that the host ends up paying that. They end up paying that processing fee. Well, with them having their own merchant processing opportunity, they will not have to pay that fee. They collect 100% of what. So if they set their property at, let's say, $200 a night, they're going to collect that $200 a night. That DirectStay will not take any of that from them, because the only thing that we're doing is we're setting up just a subscription model. There's 3 different tiers, Steve, and they choose the subscription model, which after the first rental, no matter what tier they pay for, will most likely pay for itself. And so that's it. And so we don't take from them on all these other rentals. We're just allowing them to be a part of this ecosystem. And to be a part of the ecosystem, there is a subscription fee. It's kind of like being a part of Amazon, and you want the quick service. And so you have you pay the specific fee for that. But that's our simple model, is just a subscription-based model. But in that subscription-based model, you have lots and lots of multiple revenue stream opportunities for you to make lots and lots of money. And we don't take percentages on that. That is for the host as well.
So when we talk about the processing the payment, is that being done by the host on their own, or are there different models for that?
Yes, so they will be able to process that all on their own. They'll be able to get the transaction taken care of. And the nice thing about that, Steve, is there's no holdup on the payment. So the payment will be go right into
Mm,
your bank account. So, and here's the other thing is a lot of times, like, and I had mentioned this before, let's say that your strong season is in the summertime and people are booking in the wintertime. Well, with the other platforms, they hold that money from you. Well, because it's your own merchant processing, you'll be able to collect that money ahead of time, which means, hey, you can put it into an account and build interest on it.
yep.
And that's what you should be doing in the first, because this is your transaction and your money, and you're the merchant of record, which is important because that's the empowerment of being a true business owner, having your own business.
Totally get that, and that's based on a experience of somebody I know that I think I shared a piece of it last time, where he rented a place and I had somebody nearby. They just happened to be nearby and they took pictures. Yeah, this is a place you got. There was a flood from heavy rains. It was off
Right.
of a mountain. You know, the
Right.
pool was mud, literally. So he asked for a refund because obviously it's not going to get fixed, right away. And that got challenging. And part of the reason was because the money was being held by, I think it was Airbnb. So now
Right.
there was delays and he wasn't, it was uncertain and he needed to get another place. So now he had to essentially for the time pay double until he got the refund, wondered if he was going to get it. Just very convoluted and complicated. Doesn't need to be.
Right. And the other thing too, Steve, on the payment side of things is that obviously what's really trending and is unfolding as kind of a big thing now is this cryptocurrency.
Mm.
There we have a wallet that's going to allow a host to be paid out in cryptocurrency if they want as an exchange. And so that's an important thing because I know there's not everybody, but a lot of people like the Bitcoin and the different things to be able to have that as an investment in those type of things. And so that's going to be a real big part of this option wise. And then if they just want to do a direct ACH through the bank and they don't want to have fees and the guests agree to that, that's going to be an option for them as well. So
Mm.
we want to open up as many options between host and guest to make things as simple as possible. And it comes down to the freedom to do so. And so we're just providing an amazing ecosystem and saying to the host, this is your business, operate it the way that you've always dreamed to. And as a guest, have a great experience. It's not going to cost you what you're used to paying. It's going to cost you a very minimal amount to be able to book your stay with DirectStay. And so we believe that the same property can be found on VRBO, Airbnb, and DirectStay. Why would you pay 20% more, not have the freedom and have all the rules and restrictions and regulations and not get paid from day one? It's
Doesn't make sense.
a no-brainer. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
right.
that's why we're excited about bringing this to market and doing these podcasts with you just to get the information out. So
So let's still focus on the host for a moment. Some of the
sure.
things you offer, even at the, call it the basic package, which is perfectly fine if you have one property. You provide analytics. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so lots of analytics. So one of the things that's important is people really want to know, Steve, is it worth it for me to switch? Is it worth it to me to come over to DirectStay? Well, one of the simple things that we've set up, and this is across all three tiers, and even before you get into a tier, which means you can do that now, is we have a savings calculator. And so you know right now what you're bringing in monthly for your rental. So put that in the savings calculator. It takes into account all the leading platforms, and it has a specific percentage that's already known based into it. And it will tell you exactly what your savings are and your return on investment is for moving over to DirectStay. And that's something that you can plainly see. The numbers don't lie. And so put that in there and be able to make that calculation. That's one of the things. And then you're going to have the analytics that are going to tell you exactly what's going on with your property.
Mm.
Looking at the calendar connection and I don't have this area booked. Should I lower the price? Should I do this or do that? And it's going to give you all the data. We're big on data. The host is going to own the data, Steve. That's a key part of what we're doing. That's unheard of. The reason why they're going to own the data is because we can't make excellent decisions as business owners without having something to measure. And that goes with the marketing too that we're going to do and that the hosts will be involved in. If we don't have analytics to measure how your marketing's doing or how you're running your business, then there's no way for you to make adjustment. And so all these, including marketing, that's a big part of this for us is because the biggest thing that we get from hosts that are currently hosting on other sites is how are we going to get more bookings? People want more business. What are you going to do to help us with that? That's a big focus of us with the analytics and the marketing combined. What's effective? What's not effective? We've even thought about doing this, Steve, is that we want to be able to give hosts a GoPro camera and give them to their guests and allow the guests to be able to use a GoPro camera to do footage and talk about their experience that they'll be able to load up to their own channel as marketing that comes from a real guest and experience. And if the guest chooses to use that, then what we can do is actually give them a future break on a stay with DirectStay to encourage them to use the GoPro camera, which will provide to be able to give the host some added marketing that's real. You really sit there, Steve, you got the GoPro going, you film something, and they can use that and say, this is coming from a real guest. So that's something that we're looking at doing, and that's an investment for us, but we believe in the long run that it's going to pay off for the host and the guest, and it's going to help everyone do well.
What a great idea. I did the same thing with my phone as I showed friends the last place I stayed about a month ago in the Caribbean. And I just wanted to share it with them. And I'm walking around. Look, this is the kitchen. Look at these new appliances. And then I pivoted over to a bedroom. Look at the deck right over there. I can see the ocean. I was doing that.
Love it. Well, you're the marketing. Yeah, I mean, you have a really strong marketing background, so you know the importance of that. And what we want to do is, a lot of times we have these tools, but people don't use them. So we want to encourage them through incentive, Steve, to use them, which they'll get something, and then the host will get something. And that's why we think it's going to work is because both parties will be advantaged with what we're offering.
Love it. Now, for the host, when you're listing, depending on the tier that you sign up for, there's templates available. Can you tell us about those?
Sure, absolutely. So you have the three different tiers. The first tier is basically if you have one property. Second tier is if you have a couple of properties, and the third tier is going to be 5 or more. So you have several properties, property manager, that type of thing. And one of the things that's going to be real beneficial here for the different tiers as you select a higher tier, you get more in return and in regards to residual income. What do I mean by that? Well, as you have increasing tiers, you have more properties and more hosts. So as you refer more hosts to DirectStay, you get a residual income on that, Steve, that is going to be paid out for as long as the host you refer stays on the platform. And that can be for 5, 10, 20 years, as long as you want. That residually for helping us one time, you'll get paid ongoing for that referral. We're just saying how much we appreciate that. So now the percentage, like I said, in the different tiers will increase over time, but everybody is going to have an opportunity to get that residual income. That's one of the big things here. And also it will unlock tools that will make your business more effective in regards to the different plans. So as you move up, you get more and more CRM, you get more automation. There's opportunity to work with AI agents that can actually help you run your property and those type of things. And so basically what you're paying for, Steve, is you're paying for leverage. And you're paying for analytics. The more the higher the tier package, the more analytics you get, the more tools that you get, those type of things. And we provide the tools and also the ecosystem, and you do the business.
Why wouldn't you? As the host, it's all there. And just the interface. I find Airbnb, VRBO sometimes a little, I don't want to say complicated because I'm geeky about that stuff. All good. But this is so much easier. in terms of the searching, the information. You get what you need to get in a very short period of time, and you can make your decision. Did you design it looking at the other sites intentionally?
Absolutely, absolutely. And next week, Steve, we're going to have our ecosystem designer on with you, the one that actually put this all together.
Oh,
Her
wow.
name is Jennifer Payne, and she's amazing, and she'll be able to talk to you about all the specific ins and outs because she's developed this. And yes, we did. We took a look at we first of all we started to listen to people. And I think that that's where it starts because the people are the ones that are using it. We need to talk to them, find out what is it that you like and what is it that you don't like.
Hmm.
And what we did was we built the ecosystem based on the things that if they could have it, they would. Because we don't want to build something and offer something that people don't want. We want it to be a great advantage for them. And so these are the things that they told you hear it over and over again. They take too much, too many restrictions, regulations, too much involvement by the big platform, or you can think of it from a governmental or a governing standpoint. They basically said we want more freedom, more empowerment, and we really want to own our business, and those are our core principles. But yes, we looked at both, or the three top companies really focusing on Airbnb, VRBO, and decided that what we needed to do was to find out the things that they weren't excelling in and to be able to offer those according to what people ask for and give them the things that they want. And that's what we've done. And we believe that we've actually enhanced that as well. We're the future of short-term rental that's here now.
What are we looking at in terms of time frame for rolling this out? And I know we're at the ground floor. I view it as like the plane is on the taxi. It's on the runway. It's ready to
Yes.
take off.
Yes.
Would you say you're about at that point?
Yeah, right there. Three to 5 weeks. And here's the exciting thing is that right now we're opening onboarding for beta hosts. You can be a founding host, which means it costs you nothing to get involved with DirectStay at all. And basically the feedback and you operating on the system and being able to give us that most important data and information is very valuable to us. And for that, there'll be no charge for you until you have your first booking. And we want to see the feedback on that, but it will get you uploaded into the system. It'll start to work on your merchant processing application and get those things all corrected and ready to go. Everything uploaded. You'll familiarize yourself with our embedded insurance opportunity
Mm.
that you can also have additional revenue through and be able to book for yourself. And then also we have an amazing trust and safety partner that you will be able to work with as well. That's going to help identify and actually has important safety features throughout the entire process of somebody who is booking with you as a host.
Wow, this is very exciting for all of us, whether you're a host or you're looking to stay somewhere. And that's great that somebody could sign up and cost them nothing until they get their first booking. And I would assume that's a subscription fee depending on the tier that they so choose.
Right, exactly. So basically what they're doing is they're just signing up for the subscription fee, but there's no charge on that at all, Steve. And that there's no charge until the first booking, and then that just automatically kicks in. So they don't have to be concerned about that. We just want you to familiarize yourself with a whole different ecosystem than what you're used to. We have videos that will help with the onboarding and those type of things that are interface and user friendly. And so we want to see people get excited about this new opportunity and ecosystem to get the things that they really said that they wanted.
So for somebody that's got some properties or just one, and they want to find out how they can get involved, what's the best way to do that, Breck?
Yeah, a couple things. So we have a really good informational webinar that has just been finished up. They can go to directstaywith.me, and that will register them for a webinar that will give them all the information, Steve, that they need. They can also give us a call. I still have to write it down. I don't have the number memorized yet, but they can call and actually speak to me directly or Jennifer. And if they don't, they get a voicemail. We'll call them right back and have a conversation with them and answer as many questions as needed. But phone number is going to be 307-207-3021, option two for them. And that will either go to myself or Jennifer in regards to specific questions that they might have about becoming a host and what's involved.
Thank you for sharing all of this once again. There's no loss here. Get on the ground floor of something fantastic. And finally, there is something competing with those other sites, which I just believe, the monopoly of swallowing it all up. And that comes with a price for all, and one that we don't have to pay. Breck,
Exactly.
thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Looking forward next time we get together.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.